see who's the first person to show up. Let's see. Bet it's gonna be Yakov. I just got done talking to him. Hang on a second, guys. I gotta do one quick thing. There we go. I figured Yakov would be the first one because I just got done talking to him. There we go. So I was informed by Yakov while I was talking to him, sorry about that, that he's like, bro, what's going on? I was like, what do you mean? He says, no live feed? I was like, bro, it's been a busy couple days this week, and today is started off pretty much the same. So, just so I spilled my fucking bong water on the fucking, yes, I spilled bong water on my workbench, and now everything smells like bong water out here. Well, here's the thing. So, I don't know if you guys remember, I was talking to you about it. We found out my sister-in-law has cancer, and yesterday I spent the whole day, had a bunch of stuff I had to do. Monday I did taxes. Monday I did the business. Well, because days where I do a lot of live feeds, either I'm doing it while I'm working or I'm doing it because I'm not working and I have a little bit of time. So yesterday I did all the taxes for the business and all that stuff. Got our tax returns figured out and done. I was right up against the limit because I had some paperwork that was still coming in. And then, oh, but it is Wharnie Wednesday, by the way. Wharnie Wednesday. I don't have all my Wharnies out here, but I've got a handful of them. Anyway, so yesterday was a day where my phone wasn't working right. I'd set up an appointment. I had to go to the Apple store. I had to go to Costco and get a couple things that we absolutely had to get. I had to get a new bulb for this light and stuff. Yeah, it's an ADV. And then got home and I had a bunch of stuff that I needed to do, personal stuff. So by the time I got it done, it was like 6 o'clock at night. Yes, I did, John. Thank you. And then so this morning, I had to go to my daughter's school for a little bit. There's not much. I can tell you the actual story. It all has to do with a baron or a Duke Warrenclyffe that had a company in Sheffield, England that he owned and decided they were already making sheepsfoot blades and they just renamed it a Warrenclyffe because it was after the Duke of Warrenclyffe or whatever it was. I do know the history on it, but I would have to be accurate about it, I didn't have to read it again. So, I mean, they're basically the same. So, any rate, so this morning, I went to my daughter's school. I was there for about an hour. That's why the live feed was pushed back. Got home, talked with my wife before she left for work, and we found out that my sister-in-law's throat cancer is stage 1. So that's a very good thing. So I'm just getting started. But you guys know me. I'll get all this work done, and then just because I like doing it. So what made me think about Wharnie Wednesday is the fact that this is kind of a Wharnie. And so I refinished this for our friend Todd. He's a kid that started coming up to the Forge on Fridays. Let's see this. Somebody said something. That's your new channel name? All right, Chris, I'll try to remember that. I don't remember things as easily as I did. Yeah, they caught it early. So the only concern I have with this is that it's got this weirdness at the back that I'm going to have to account for. We may have to go ahead and refinish this blade anyway again. It may need, let's try it on that's a 250. Let's grab the 300 and do a quick, I can't remember what steel this is. I think it's M390. Yeah, it feels like M390. I think I may have already sharpened this once. Yes, I definitely would consider that. That blade style goes all around. You didn't have to pay me to answer a question. I mean, it's cool. Probably, that's what I ought to do. I should do a super chat Q&A where you have to pay me to ask me questions. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Unless you guys think that's a good idea. Kidding. Kidding. No, I'm not. Not at all. I think it's a great idea. I think that would be something awesome. Talk to Yakov. His legs are getting better. We got everything set up. He is still going to sponsor my daughter's skating. He's the one that told me, he's like, hey, bro, no live feed. People are going to worry. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you do it every morning now, like coffee. Have coffee with you. He's like, everyone's going to worry. Down for what? Wait a second, Bradley, what were you? I'm down for a lot of stuff, but I don't know. What was it? Okay, Bradley, I missed something then. Let me go back through this. Nice. Yeah, I'm kidding, unless you're down for it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I don't know. That seems like a bit over the top. I mean, there's a lot of channels that do it, and they make. There's one guy I was watching it. Donut Operator was basically calling him out because he was doing a video, and like every 15 or 20 seconds, he kept talking about the fact that like he can't afford to live because YouTube has demonetized all his stuff, and then there's ways to find out information out, and so basically, Donut went and looked up the guy's financials, and he's still making like fucking $10,000 a month on YouTube. And literally every 5 minutes he kept bringing up it's fucking this, and I'm not making any good money and this and that. And then he just kept bringing it up in the video. And Donut was basically picking on him and calling him out because he was complaining because he's like, I just bought the new car. If I know YouTube was going to do this. And he's like, bro, you're still making $10,000 a month. What expenses do you have? And he was talking because it was a react channel where basically the guy just films himself reacting to other videos, a lot like Donuts. And it's like a fair use channel where the fucking things. So he doesn't even generate his own content. So he basically just uses other people's content and reacts to it. I have went the other direction. I generate all my own content. You know what else? If Jack can log in and attest to it, I even made my own. I made my own intro music. I did 3 different ones. I generated it all through a music software where I could generate the beat, all of the music, change it all, and I did 3 different 36 second, because my intro is 36 seconds. 3 different 36-second intro musics. I generate all of my own content, 100% of it. I've thought about doing some React videos. Some of them I watch. Like, I love watching Donuts, like when he breaks down shooting videos and things like that, and explains things from the cop's perspective, which, you know, I did some law enforcement. I was never an actual cop, but I did some law enforcement, and I worked basically in the law enforcement field after I retired from the Navy. I might have to go to that. I was hoping I could do it on that stone, but I don't think it's gonna do it. I like that stone because it is really aggressive and it does a really good job. But the flip side is I'm afraid I'm gonna wear that stone out faster than I need to when I have this. So, which works really good for reprofiling because this doesn't wear out like that does. Maybe it does wear out, but not the same. Guys, I've thought about doing, I've been playing around with it. I've got my PlayStation 4 camera set up. I'm gonna see if I can do some live streaming gaming, because I play video games. There's times where I'll just spend an entire day playing video games. But if you start doing, the problem with that, if you start doing that, you got to do it like all the time. I don't have that kind of time. I worked Friday and Saturday. I worked so much that I saw my daughter Thursday, and then I didn't see her Friday morning because they went skating. By the time she got home from school, I was already at the shop. Saturday, they got up and went skating, and by the time they got home, I was already at the shop, and I didn't get home till 9 or 9:30 Saturday night, so I didn't see my daughter Friday. I didn't see her Friday or Saturday. I didn't see her from Thursday till Sunday because I just was working on stuff up at the shop. So I don't even have time to see my daughter sometimes, let alone sit down and play a video game most of the time. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. Okay. It's only not cool if you get caught. I've had a bunch of people send me Ultratechs and Hellhounds and stuff like that I've redone and sharpened. Just don't list it as a switchblade. I'm gonna tell you guys the key to sending stuff through the mail if they make you declare something. Camping tool. Unless you're doing it UPS to Canada, and then they're gonna question it. And I was like, wow. Found that out with Robert. His knives, I had to call UPS and explain exactly what was in those packages. I think it would have been better on that one. I think it would have been better to use USPS. So Todd got his dad's job. XM18, the new model, the ones that actually flip, not one of the old ones that won't flip. Hang on a second, let me set the edge on this side one more time, back and forth. I think I got that serious burr. Okay, let me see here. Lighting's weird on this, guys, I apologize. And a Hinder XM24. So basically the way I like, if I sharpen, or I'm sorry, if I refinish a knife for a guy, what I'm usually looking to do, break something in, because basically it's like breaking it in from new. I'm gonna put a lot more lube on it than I actually need. So I'm not saying take it apart. I'd put like 3 or 4 drops on the bearings. Just this, we're talking about break-in. Put a ton of oil down in the bearings. I put a couple drops of oil right on the detent ball and track, and then grab your lock bar, pinch it, and just work the shit out of that. Maybe tighten your pivot down, not enough you're gonna break the screw off. Tighten it down just enough, you're putting a little extra tension on that to clean that up. Just pinch the shit out of it and work that fucking thing back and forth. And then take it apart, wipe off the excess oil, put it back together, just get it just tight like you want it, and it should be like my buck. This thing is like frictionless. It wants to drop shut. Guys, we have gotten so much traffic on the channel in the last couple months. Like, I actually made some money on YouTube this last couple months. Not a lot. I mean, like, maybe enough I could have bought a buck. More along the lines I can afford to buy my daughter a backpack. So the wife and I we already have her tickets and everything to go to Japan this summer. But we're talking about if her sister has to have surgery, might have to come up with a way. It's insanely smooth. They smooth up quick, good. We may have to look at letting her go for a couple weeks, and she's just gonna have to take a couple weeks off of Japan for work and go if her sister has to have surgery and stuff like that, just to, because family in Japan's a big deal. I mean, it is in the States, but like my family and I have never been close. Like, you don't want to mess with anybody in my family because we'll all come after you. But to like spend time, I mean, hell, guys, I haven't been home since my dad died, and I was planning on going for this trip to Blade, but with everything that happened with Yakov and he got injured, now he can't go. We have tickets, but we don't know if we have a place to stay. I'm planning on not going to Blade this year. So, and at this point, getting plane tickets is going to be crazy expensive, and there's no lodging available anywhere close to the venue. So, and the flip side of it is, am I going to see a return on investment by going? My knives aren't going to be at the Wii booth this year. It might be better served to take that and save that trip and wait and go and see Wii in Portland at Blade Show West this year. So, plus the other thing too is, if I spend that money on the trip, there's things that I can't do that I was planning on doing. My daughter didn't get to go to Disneyland last year, and it was not a financial decision. It was more based on, yeah, it was kind of a financial thing, but the fact too was so much stuff was closed. And I take my daughter to Disneyland every year. So what we're thinking about is, I have to think about things like that. I haven't done anything for my wife. I haven't done anything for my daughter. Income tax return comes back. When I get the income tax return back, she's getting a new stove. You guys have seen, my stove is fucking ugly. It's atrocious. And it's because it's the stove that was here when we rented the place. It was already really old. I told the landlord that not to, as long as it worked, I'm a function over form kind of guy. But it does look disgusting. And there's stuff in this house that I need to get done. Because while it doesn't bother me, because it works, it just looks old. I get it. My wife is embarrassed about certain things. Like when somebody comes over and they see our stove, it's nothing that we can help. It's been like that. That stove was like that when we bought the house. It was like that when we rented the house. And I grew up living with things that, I have to remember a different mentality. My wife did not grow up as financially deprived as I did. I can live with a lot of stuff. And I was in the military, you know? I don't give a fuck how it looks. It's just gotta work. So with this year's income tax return, there's stuff I want to do for my wife, I want to do for my daughter. Primarily the stove. And my wife needs a new computer. So that's going to be the big push. And I need to pay our credit card debt off that we've accumulated over the last year or two of me starting this business. So but that light at the end of the tunnel that I said I was seeing here a couple months ago, you guys heard me say it. Maybe it's not a train, you know? Hey, as luck would have it. So I have a Cold Steel AD-15 that came to me from a guy up at 29 Palms. He's a military guy. And he asked me if I'd gotten to play with one. I said no. He asked me if I wanted to. I said, sure. I'll definitely put it on the channel and do a review on it. Still a spot back here at the heel that needs touched up on both sides. So there's going to be a video about that. But the first video I have to do that's an actual video, as soon as I get a couple of these sharpened, I'm going to pause and I'm going to do that. Because I already have it thought out in my head what I want to say. I had a guy buy that purple Skaha, and I have Dwayne Smotherman's Gen 2, so the purple one's a Gen 1. I have Dwayne Smotherman's Gen 2 here at the house for sharpening. I'm going to do a comparison video, and then I'm going to get that Skaha, the original ones, sharpened up so I can get it to the guy that paid for it, so he bought it. And then I'm going to do some stuff with this ADV, and then it's going to go up. So that you guys can, I have a couple things going on in my head that I'm thinking about doing, but I think basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it pretty tactical. I'm thinking that I'm going to do this all black, but the other thing that I'm going to do, for any of you guys that are interested in this, all the little hot spots are going to get changed. There's a bunch of jimping here inside the lock bar. That I don't like. There's all kinds of little spots where nothing was filleted or chamfered. All of this is really sharp. There's some, I don't know why there's jimping on the pocket clip, but I'm going to tell you it tears pockets up. So all that stuff's going to get changed. It's all going to be refinished. Yeah, it was quick. I didn't ever figure it would go that quick, but they're popular. And a guy reached out to me and he goes, well, how much are you thinking? I told him the number, and I was like, you know, because the Gen 2s are hard to find, and this is a Gen 1, which is even harder. And he was like, yeah, he's like, you just can't get one. So he jumped on it. And thank you again, Drew. I appreciate it. I had a guy reach out to me. He goes, dude, you're always talking about your daughter's ice skating. Is it really that expensive? I was like, each competition is $400. They're like, what? I was like, yeah. There's no way. I was like, with the entry fee, the travel that we have to do, we pay the coaches travel, and then the practice ice and stuff that she has to do there, so she has a feel for how the ice is that day. All that put together, it's several $100s. Plus food, and you know, we're gonna have to start looking at, she's gonna start competing out of state. We're really sure she's going to Washington State this year in November timeframe to skate at what's called sectionals. So, I mean, she's probably, I think her coach was saying she's already qualified for that competition. And I'm like, Jesus. She's like, that's in Washington State. I'm like, wow. So, guys, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate David giving me these stones. It doesn't, I'm not going to say that they take less time, but they definitely do. Okay, so with my old stones, I would sharpen a knife in 20 CV up to a certain point, and then I would start to see scratches because you would have grit inconsistencies with some of those stones where they make the stone, and yeah, it's pretty much all like, let's say 600 grit, but every once in a while, that stone will have some inconsistencies, and they will be some grit contamination that happens in the stone itself, and you start getting some scratch pattern that doesn't match what the pattern is. These are not like that. I don't know how David got such consistent grit. I would imagine it's because he does one batch at a time of that grit and then just sanitizes and cleans and all that, the area, before he goes to the next grit when he makes the resin bound blocks. But I don't have to go back as much and do rework, and I get more consistent. Now you still get some grit contamination. It's gonna happen because, you know, and not necessarily grit contamination from stone to stone, grit contamination just from shit that's in the air that blows around. Unless I was doing this like in a clean room, which I wouldn't want to do this any other way than this. I love being out here and getting a little bit of sun, and I get fresh air. And it's like having a shop separate of the house, but I still have all the benefits of working at home. You know what I mean? And I'm not paying, it's not like I'm paying anything really for this, except just the canopy and whatever the light costs, which I'm using LEDs up under here for light. So, and the reason I have it on, I'll show you why. You might not be able to see a difference, but looking down on work, I can see a little bit better. It lets me have a little bit of reflection off of stuff to get a better look at what I'm doing. So my friend Brian's gonna swing by today. We're gonna look at my wife's computer. Like I said, have not decided if that's gonna be a, we should maybe just sell that housing, or I fix that computer for my daughter and then fix that computer for my daughter and then get my wife a new one, which I think is probably the better option, because there's so much stuff. Like, she can't watch Netflix on it because it's old enough that it won't upgrade the Silverlight because it's just not compatible. So, like I said, my wife, I haven't done, I mean, I do stuff for them that I don't do for myself. I haven't done anything for myself really in a long time, but I need to get with Nico. I gotta finish this cabinet doors. We've let that slide. We've just both been so busy with other stuff. So, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, Robert, I did see your texts and stuff like that. It's going to, like, personal text and email, or personal text and phone calls and stuff like that are completely a thing of the past right at the moment. Because the other thing that's taking up my time, so that you guys know, is I have 2 other knife designs, and I am trying to deal with about getting one of them done there, but I'm also thinking I want to try and have the other one, which is the Scorpion, done as an American-made product. And I think I know how I want to do it, but I just don't know how soon that's going to happen. But so I'm working on those things too. So like, I know, Robert, I know you want to talk to me. I just don't have the time to do it. If I get on a phone call, I get distracted. I can do this because it's not as intrusive, and I haven't even looked at the chat lately. So this is a completely different animal than sitting down and talking on the phone, and I have to get the house phone. And so it's just all, it's not that I don't want to talk to you guys. I just need to sequester that. It's going to be a while before I get back to where I can just start calling people and stuff. I skimmed through some of it. I didn't read all of it, but yeah, I was restoring my phone, and I was dealing with emails. My wife's computer won't even turn on. Well, the screen, it turns on, but the screen doesn't work. Okay, here's what I'm trying to not do, and I'll tell you why. One of the best advice I ever got, Jason, was not to go into business with friends or family. And so while Elliot has helped me a lot, he doesn't have an active role in the business, except I sharpen knives for them. And we came to a decision that Elliot didn't 100% agree with, which I don't charge them to sharpen their knives anymore. That's how I pay my shop rent. That was an idea that Chris had, and I was like, you know what? No, I like that idea. As much as I like money, I like the idea that, you know, basically I have carte blanche access to the shop. If I wanted to go up there today, I could, and I could stay until midnight if I wanted to. So I don't want to do anything that would interfere with the friendship that I have with them. I value that more than I do the money that I might make from having them do that as a limited run. And so Elliot has helped me with CAD renders and things like that, but right now I think that the sharpening thing is about as much business as I think we should push on that, because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen where it ruins families. Nico and his parents seem to do a really good job of running a family business, but the thing is, I've seen it ruin so many friendships by going into business. I had a couple friends of mine that were in the Navy, and they started a business, and they can't stand each other now. So I think it's just better. More better, more good. You know what I mean? I think it would screw with the dynamic of the friendship. This is pretty much done. That's not bad, 30 minutes for me to start to finish on a ZT that I've never reprofiled this or anything. So let's reprofile, and we're almost all the way up in grit. Did I miss a comment? Barter's good, saves money both ways. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I can't pay everything in barter. I need more I need another cup of coffee. I need to flatten the stone again. No, that's what I was saying earlier in the thing. So we were, Yakov, we were going to go, and Yakov had a place for us to stay. But the problem is Yakov got in that accident and is having to do daily physical therapy at the hospital. And so it just, I don't think it's going to happen. And at this point, I think it's too late to get plane tickets. They're going to be an arm and a leg. And so there's no lodging available. All the rooms basically are rented out. So there's no lodging. It's just, I don't think it's a good idea this year. So I was going to use that trip to go home, since we were going to go anyway, but with everything having kind of fallen apart, I think we all just decided that we're not going this year. So and the thing is, I don't think it would do me that good, because the fact is my knives aren't going to be up yet. I just sent them a revision for the Hornets because I wanted to, we're changing the handle material to something that's got more grip, G10. Which changing the handle material was actually the better of the two choices. My other option was to completely go back and checker the handles. I think they're going this year. Pretty sure they're going to blade this year. Not sure. But at any rate, we damn it. I gotta go back down. Always happens. You get to that like 2000 grit, and that's when you notice spots that you missed. So go back down. Get rid of that weirdness. Guys, guess what? I gotta stop because I just got a text. I have to go meet a guy at the front. So I don't know if I'm gonna do any more live feed on this. I'm kind of in that mood where I want to just probably watch Blade Runner and sharpen. But this was our morning coffee live feed. I'm gonna try and, you guys said you wanted me to do a live feed like every day. Some of you guys did. If it seems like you're losing interest in it, we'll revisit it, but I don't have a problem with doing this like every day as long as I have internet. As long as my internet's not all fucking weird. So